I think the lessons and things that I've learned at Branksome have really laid the foundation for me going forward into university. So I guess if I could give an analogy, it kind of reminds me of like the starting blocks in track and field. That's what Branksome has become now. So it's a great way for me to push off into the rest of life.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
Number one, I would say the education. The IB program really helped me kind of get ahead and get on track in university. So I'm really appreciative for that, both in content and sort of the study habits that I developed through the IB. And then also I would have to say just opportunities to see speakers and experience things that I don't think I would have anywhere else. We had some incredible speakers in the 6 years that I was at Branksome, and just being able to interact with those leaders, especially leaders who are women, was really, for me, really impactful and something I'm very appreciative of. I think every teacher, especially as you progress through Branksome, is really wanting to create a bond with their students. The small class sizes really help, and also being able to choose your own subjects or have more choice in the IB really allows you to work with teachers and learn from teachers that are passionate about the same things that you're passionate about, which I think makes a huge difference. And yeah, just having a great rapport with your teachers really, I think, makes you excited to go to school every day and actually want to learn from them. I think the IB is one thing. I know that very few independent schools in Toronto offer it, and especially the support to do the IB. So it's almost not, I don't want to say expected, but it's kind of a natural streamline from grade 9 and 10 at Branksome to go into the IB program. So having them scaffold the curriculum in 7, 8, 9, and 10 to prepare you for the IB, I think is really unique. And again, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have studied in the IB because I think it really prepared me for university. And also, again, going back just to the speakers and the just unique opportunities with that, and to see people working out in the field, whether it be alum or, I don't know, professionals, people that are really making a name for themselves. I think that's really inspiring. I had to pick a couple traits. I would definitely say hardworking. I think, I guess I'm kind of using the people that operate within the school as sort of a guide for personifying the school itself. So definitely hardworking. I think very enthusiastic, effervescent. It was always such a delight, especially as I got into the older grades, to see my friends at school every day. And I think even when you're in those crunch periods or working really hard, being able to have friends that are going through that with you really is important for bonding. And also surprising. I think there would be so many times when I would sit down in an assembly and someone would get up to present or get up and play a song or an instrument, and I never would have expected that person to do that. I just never knew that they had that talent or quality. And I think that was really a great thing and added a lot to my days for sure. Again, I have to go back to the hardworking thing. I think all of my friends, all my peers, a lot of people in my grade were just very driven, and that wasn't always necessarily with the same thing. I think sometimes the idea of hardworking is just in like the academics or something, but I think everyone had very unique passions, and seeing people pursue those was great. So have to go back to the hardworking and driven as well, kind of going off of the hardworking. I think a lot of people were really excited to try different things that Branksome had to offer, and get involved in whatever ways that they enjoyed. And I think as we progressed from, in my experience anyway, from grade 7 to grade 12, seeing people sort of forge their own paths and be passionate about different things was great. So I guess that the common thread would kind of be this drive and the hardworking nature. But I think it was great to see that people were taking those qualities into many different pursuits. I think definitely you got to try new things. There's so many things in the creativity realm, in the sports realm, in the service, community service realm, in the academic realm that Branksome offers. And I think to get the most out of your experience, and to feel your best when you graduate, I think, at least in my view, trying a lot of different things and maybe finding a passion that you want to commit more time to from there, from all those trials, is great. But yeah, I agree that, as you said, being successful isn't necessarily kind of this one way, one lane street. There's a lot of different ways to be successful. And I think to do that at Branksome, just to try different things is the way to get there. I think there was definitely an appreciation for the uniqueness of each student. We would have sometimes like spotlight assemblies for different grades, and seeing maybe the grade 7 grade reps highlight some people in their grade that they felt were doing exceptional things, in all aspects of life was great to see. So I think that appreciation for uniqueness is really, great to see. And I think that ties into one of the values. This would be in a brochure because it's one of Branksome's 4 official values, sense of community. But I think that, physical manifestation within the school day, like having those spotlight assemblies or, this and that and the other thing, are really a great way to demonstrate that Branksome does really value sense of community because it wants to appreciate all of its members. I think I was definitely from the open houses that I went to in grade 6, I was kind of intimidated. I was like, wow, like these are all really great top performers. Like if I'm not on my A game every day, I'm not going to be able to fit in here or succeed. And that's definitely not the case. As I've said, people are extremely hardworking and driven, but there's also the acknowledgement that everyone is just a person, and you can have a day where you just need to be more mellow and take your time and kind of maybe sit in the back of class and just listen and take notes. So that definitely surprised me, I think, going into it, and just the understanding that, teachers and administrators have, I think was great to see. Just ensuring that you make that connection and say, hey, here's how I'm doing, and check in. People are really willing to support you because it's your education. So I think everyone is of the understanding that you'll get what you put in. So if you're not supported and you're sort of not feeling like you're going to be able to work at your best, it only disadvantages you. And another thing I found surprising was the connections between alum. I didn't really expect, like alum life to be as big as it is. I kind of thought like, okay, once you graduate, that's that chapter closed. But, just having different alum reach out to me and say, oh, here's someone in Halifax that I think you could meet up and grab coffee with. Like they were my friend in high school and I think they'd be a great mentor. Or just different alum reaching out with initiatives and events and things like that, I think has been something that really surprised me about Branksome. I think there's 2 levels with that. So firstly, kind of the hard skills like my study habits. I think Branksome definitely shaped that, and that really has given me, a great foundation to go into university. And also to just with the level, that people are practicing subjects at, I guess, like for example, theory of knowledge in the IB, being able to think in a way that is more, I guess, theoretical and higher level has really helped me as well in the university setting. Um, and then I think the second layer beyond those kind of study habits and way you think would definitely be my character. I think I'm more confident, definitely more confident. I was more confident coming out than I was going in. And I think, understanding that my voice does matter and people do want to hear from me, in classrooms, and just having the confidence to put my hand up if I know the answer or I have an idea. I think that has been a really big thing for me. For me, going into the IB, you have a couple meetings in grade 10 about what courses you might want to take. And I think I wish I had asked more questions, because I did go into the IB with courses that I didn't end up finishing the IB with. And so I was able to transition, and I had support to do that. So that was great at the end of grade 11. But I think I wish I would have asked more questions, just because it is such a step up from the curriculum that you're doing in grade 10. So I think I kind of thought, the way that, for example, in my own experience, chemistry, the way chemistry was in one unit in grade 10 science is not really the way it is in the IB. So I wish I would have maybe asked an older student, can I see your IB chemistry notebook, or things like that. So I would have been able to not have those kind of admin hiccups with my courses by the end of grade 11, but I did have support to change that. So all in all, it ended well. And I think one other thing is, sometimes it is really easy to get caught up in, like, here are all these amazing speakers and all these amazing high performing people all around me. And I think sometimes it's easy to let that get away from you and be like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not sufficient in this area. But again, that's where you need to maybe go to a trusted peer, trusted teacher, or guidance counselor. And that kind of helps ground you and realize that everyone is allowed to be unique and be successful and driven in one area. And that doesn't mean that you're not in that area. Everyone's just trying to do their best. So if you're taking advantage of the opportunities you have, you are doing great. Yeah, I think it definitely has evolved. I mean, Branksome, since I was going there every day, having meetings, doing clubs, sports, it was like very central to my life. Obviously, it was a school that I went to from grade 7 to 12. And now, having graduated, it's not as central anymore. And I think that evolution has been good. I think the lessons and things that I've learned at Branksome have really laid the foundation for me going forward into university. But it's not still kind of my whole life in the way that it was, especially in grade 11 and 12. So I guess if I could give an analogy, it kind of reminds me of like the starting blocks in track and field. That's what Branksome has become now. So it's a great way for me to push off into the rest of life, but it's not my whole life anymore, which I think, in my view, is a good thing. I mean, I hate to keep going back to this one thing, but I think the education, number one, is so great at Branksome, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to be in the IB program. As challenging as it was at times, it definitely, I'm reaping the rewards now, I'd say. Number two, a little bit more interesting maybe, just the extracurricular opportunities are incredibly abundant at Branksome, like through exchanges, different creativity clubs, service opportunities, athletic opportunities. Like, my best memories at Branksome are being involved in co-curricular things. So definitely, that's a second thing. And I guess the third would just be, out of those two realms, like the challenge of the IB that you're going through with friends, and the co-curriculars that you can get involved with friends. I think just, again, the friendships that come from those two areas, both curricular and co-curricular. Like, I still am in touch with so many of the girls from my graduating class. I live with some of my friends from high school at Dal. So being able to still have that connection is so valuable, because I think you get to see people grow and change. And that's really nice and rewarding to see. And you also just, you have friends for life. I think really listen to your child. I think it's sometimes really hard to tell um, from like, you don't really know until you know, I guess, is what I want to say, or once you're in it. So I think if it is a collaborative decision, that will maybe make for the most sustainable choice going forward, because it is obviously, I mean, depending on the entry year, it's usually the parents that are making maybe the final decision and the investment, but it's the child that is going there every day. So I think really be open with your child, just because there are so many amazing things to be gained through time at Branksome. But if it's not working out that way, then it's important that every child gets the support they need, because again, every person is different. Yeah, I think maybe encourage your child not, or encourage your child to try as many things as they can, and support them in doing that. I know there were some times, even though I was trying a bunch of things, I felt like, oh, maybe I should just revert back to the things that I know I'm good at. But if there's support both at school and at home to try different things, then I think that really makes a big difference. Yeah, so I guess open collaboration with the decision, listening to your child, and encouraging and supporting your child to try things once they are at Branksome. I think take every day as it comes. As I've said throughout, there's so many great things to try, and there's so much joy to be had and fun to be had and friends to be made and things, amazing things to learn. So being really appreciative and present every day to enjoy those things. And then also understanding that there will be days when, like anyone at any school, where you just maybe aren't feeling it, or it's a slower day, something, I don't know, there's a barrier to you having the most successful day you can, and that's okay too, because maybe the next day will be the best day. So I think really understanding that being present and enjoying your experience is how you're going to get the most out of it, because at the end of the day, that's now what, looking back, I have those memories. So really appreciating the joy and understanding that it's okay if it's not always the most joyful.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.